Bien, un aplauso para los nuevos miembros.
Good morning, everybody. It's your favorite truck driver in the whole wide world. It's Bitcoin Ben here with his Red Bull for Monday morning. And I got to tell you guys, I got to be honest. I think I am completely done with this actual, like Bitcoin thing, because my good friends Eddie and Maddie up here in Massachusetts, they gave me, and I'm going to get emotional. They gave me exactly, look at that. I got $10 billion. I'm a billionaire, guys. I'm done. I'm going to trade in all my Bitcoin and I'm going to get, well, I won't get this much, but I am now a billionaire. Look at that. Look at that, guys. It's official. I got $10 billion. Really, let's be honest. How many of these little pieces of paper can there be? That's a lot of billions. I'm done with this Bitcoin shit. I mean, look at that. I'm a billionaire. I got the piece of paper to prove it. Ugh. Who needs Bitcoin when you have little pieces of paper that say that? Look at that. Wow, I am so rich. I am so rich. Can't wait to go to Zimbabwe and spend it. I'm going to buy all of Zimbabwe. I'm going to own Zimbabwe with this little piece of paper I got right here. Yep. This is like the title to Zimbabwe. There you go. Yep, I'm just going to buy the whole fucking country. You see how ridiculous that sounds? It's a piece of paper. It's literally a piece of paper. And it says 10 billion, right? $10 billion in Zimbabwe. Folks, if that right there, seeing that little piece of paper doesn't show you what an illusion this whole system is, then I don't know what to tell you, because it's always actually been an illusion. All right, let's jump in here. You all know that this ain't worth the paper it's fucking printed on. This is what I want to talk about. My good friend up in Washington, D.C., Mr. Dennis Porter, has launched and gone viral on X because he's saying, watch for Tuesday. There's going to be an announcement on Tuesday. And so many people totally miss what the fuck he's even talking about. Everyone's like, oh, who's buying Bitcoin? Who's doing this? Who's doing that? No, this is legislatively. This is setting up the new system. This is news that is actually coming out that is going to change the global economic system. Guys, we have, and this will blow your mind, we have liberals and progressives in Congress and in the House of Representatives, all right, or in the Senate and in House of Representatives, liberals and progressives are on board with Bitcoin. Well, I'm not going to put words in his mouth, but from what I hear, he's having more trouble figuring out who isn't on board than who is on board. Of course, we have the usuals like fucking Pocahontas or something like that, but she's literally bought and paid for. The announcements over the next week or 2 weeks are going to blow your mind. Trump has a health announcement. Think about that. Let that sink in. Trump says he has an announcement on vaccines and the tie from vaccines to autism. Oh, who would have ever thought? Yeah, RFK for years wrote a book on it. All right, literally wrote the book. Vaccines cause autism, basically. And literally mainstream media is losing their everlasting mind over this. They're like, well, who ever heard of such hogwash? Scientists and real doctors who look at the data are like, no, we've known this for years. This is obvious. Look at what you're putting in the vaccines. All right. Now, listen to this, guys. This is the logic of these retards. Did you know every vaccine has mercury in it? Or, yeah, I'm pretty sure every vaccine has mercury in it. The reason they say that they have to add mercury, which is poisonous to humans, is so that the vaccine gets through the blood-brain barrier. Wait, if the vaccine uses mercury to get through the blood-brain barrier, doesn't that also mean the mercury gets through the blood-brain barrier? Well, yeah. Isn't mercury poisonous to human tissue? Yes. Oh, that sounds like a good idea. They poison us with our ignorance of what they're doing, because so many of these vaccines never tested, never adequately tested. Look at what they did with that shot. Oh yeah, we ain't never tested it, but we want everybody to take it, and if you don't take it, you're going to lose your job. Wait, what? We are literally at war with people who are scientifically trying to eliminate us, guys. No one includes mercury in a shot has good, honest, decent worry for your health. Right? Yeah, that's a good one. The Bitcoin protects your DNA. Hell, why not? It solves all the other problems. And that's what I want to jump in today. is really explain. Hang on, let me adjust this a little bit so I'm a little bit more level. Good enough. All right. You have to understand what this legislation is really doing. This legislation is not an executive order. And I want to explain why the progressives and the liberals are going along with this. Guys, gals, we're in a pinch. We're in a little bit of trouble economically here in America. We have so much debt, so much debt. And what everyone realizes and what everyone's moving towards now is this is the end game. All right. Let me explain real quick where we're at if we didn't have Bitcoin. There would be, even using gold, they could not recapitalize the monetary system even using gold. We would never do it. Because as soon as we reset the price, that resets the price globally. That instantly makes China richer than America. That instantly makes India richer than America. That makes us some broke-ass biatches, at least on paper. And what no one will ever talk about with gold is Chocolate Mountain or the Grand Canyon. There's so much gold in the ground. Let's think of gold in the ground as unrealized gains. All right, it's a reserve. There's so much gold in the ground that if anyone really ever came out and said, this is about how much gold is in the Grand Canyon, which they did. Look it up. I think it was in 1902 in the New York Times. I think this is correct. They announced that in the Grand Canyon, they have located approximately, I think it was 10 times as much gold that was in circulation at the time. 10 times. Just in the Grand Canyon where they were looking. That article was yanked out of the New York Times and was never talked about again. But you can find it online. That's one of the catalysts that led to the Federal Reserve. Was that announcement. Now, mind you, they already wanted to do the Federal Reserve because they wanted to accumulate as much gold into the American Federal Reserve System as possible. But when they got that news, they're like, oh shit, we need a bigger plan. Now, mind you, for those of you who know, you know, I'm just going to mention this. There's something called the Three-War Plan, and it was actually put out by an asshole named Pike. That would be Pike. I think that's, yeah. Just look, if you're going to Google it, you Google Three-War Plan, and I think his name was Andrew Pike or something like that. But his last name was Pike. And he was Illuminati, right? Oh, add. All right, Jim Flanagan, brother. There is probably a ton of gold at the bottom of the ocean. Okay, Albert. Yes, Albert Pike. All right. Now, Jim just brought up something big that nobody tells you about. And and those who know about it are very few because it's oil men. People who are out in the ocean drilling for oil. They know of a layer that is called the gooey layer. All right. That's when you're drilling into the ocean. There's a layer of the ocean, and it's referred to as the gooey layer. That gooey layer is mostly gold. That's why they call it the gooey layer, because actually gold in its natural existence is very malleable, very, easy to bend. That is absolutely across all of the oceans. All of the oceans. Let's see. Is there a difference between the Illuminati and the Freemasons? Think of them as a finger off the same hand. You have the Masons, um, you have Skull and Bones, you have the Illuminati includes all of them. And there's actually there are a ton of Illuminati organizations. That's the Rothschilds. That's old money. That's the royalty over in Great Britain. That they're all actually part of the Illuminati. Yes, Knights Templar. That's a whole nother topic, because the Knights Templar led to other things. Yes. Here in America, we have an organization called the Knights of Columbus. And my grandfather was a member of the Knights of Columbus. That's a whole nother different topic. But I digress. What we are creating, the legislation that's getting put together now, it is a legislative new system, because this old system, without the Bitcoin, we are Zimbabwe. That's us without the Bitcoin, because Zimbabwe hyperinflated their little pieces of paper that weren't backed by jack shit. And all of a sudden, we're done as an absolute country, because what they're setting up for, folks, listen to this, listen closely. They're setting up the Bitcoin as a inflation sponge. All right. What they're setting up is two routes for inflation. Number one, use as much of the exterior inflation to completely reconstruct America's systems, airports, railroads, highways, and a bunch of factories. That's what Trump, all right. Trump is using all of these programs. Trump's using tariffs Trump's using this new uh, SP 100 visa bill or whatever the fuck that he's raising the fee for a work visa for all of the tech companies to $100,000 per visa per year. What he's doing is, while everyone's like, "Oh, he's capped, he's charging for visas. This is correct." No. You guys don't understand how much inflation we have pushed out into the world. Trump is bringing that inflation in, and he's sending it throughout the American economy. He's using that inflation to reconstruct the American economy into the new digital age. That's what all of the tariffs, he is organizing the inflation that would come into America, because if he did not organize this inflation influx, that inflation would hit housing, that inflation would hit land, that inflation, what would happen? And this is why Florida and other states, and basically America, kicked out the Chinese and said, "You no can purchase any land in Florida no more." Because China and everyone else who holds our treasury bonds, we're not going to roll them over. They were going to cash them out and actually purchase land. That's what happened with the USSR. The USSR, when it collapsed, you had a free-for-all out there, just fucking, they were buying at George Soros, I'm talking to you. They were buying warehouses and factories and companies and rock bottom prices, because they knew they could use the existing money left in the system of the USSR to purchase these. Because remember, the USSR had its own currency. So do we. The outside world, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them for saying, "Hey, we got all these fucking dollars. What the hell are we going to spend on it? We don't want more treasuries. Fuck your bonds. We're just going to buy land and houses." They've been doing it for years. I can remember in St. Louis when I was looking to actually buy a house out in an area called Wildwood, kind of an upper priced area in St. Louis. Every open house we went to, there were 4 or 5 Asians that were walking through the house, and they were single guys. Like, "Oh, this is nice property. They were looking at it as an investment. They weren't going to live in it. They were going to buy it, pay cash, and rent it. Just rent it out. Because that was how they were getting money out of China. Capital flight. Right? Let's see. It's not per year. It's a one time. No. It's per year. Right? It is per year. And this is what he's actually doing. He is bringing in all of the inflation, and he's sending it in areas to reconstruct America. Yeah, that's what he's doing. Now, that's a lot of the outside inflation. That's what Trump's doing. That's what the tariffs are about. That's what this is about. That's what a lot of other, that's what the legislation they're actually putting through right now is all about. And the fact that they're doing that, that's a good thing, right? That's how you improve your infrastructure without raising taxes or getting more debt. Now, the other part of inflation is the Bitcoin. That's the other part of the plan. That's why Trump has gone full Bitcoin. That's why Trump has basically said, never sell your Bitcoin. While the average Joe and the average Jane is looking at the price go up and down, that's in dollar value. All right. Trump does not think in dollar value. At least not when he's thinking presidential. Because you have to separate Trump, the businessman, from Trump, the president. They're two separate entities. Trump's organization, all of his hotels, all of his properties, all of his businesses, they announced last week or the week before, Trump's whole company, all of his assets, all of his hotels, all of everything, hold their reserves in Bitcoin. All of it. They don't hold a little bit over here and a little bit over here and a little bit over here. They hold all their reserves in Bitcoin. That should tell you guys something. When the president of the United States, privately owned company, owns the Bitcoin as all of their reserves for their whole organization, that just that's a little bit of a hint, wouldn't you say? I would say that. And what they're lining up legislatively is exactly what Dennis Porter is talking about. While everyone else is like, ooh, who bought Bitcoin? Did Michael Saylor buy more Bitcoin? Yeah, just like last week. Can we get a new news story? Yeah, Michael Saylor is going to buy Bitcoin for the rest of his ever-loving life. We have more and more large corporations. Look at Metaplanet. Metaplanet's trying to catch up to Michael Saylor. Yes, all these people are buying Bitcoin. That's great. That's great for Bitcoin. Trump is looking at the future of America. Trump is looking to recapitalize the American system, right? And when I say recapitalize, I mean add something of value to our portfolio that increases at a rate of value that can erase the debt in each of these systems. Social Security, add the Bitcoin to it. Now, this is something people don't realize. With the legislation that they're setting up, this is what they're doing. All right. Remember, Trump is going to launch a treasury dollar. a treasury dollar, not a CBDC, not from the Federal Reserve, from the Treasury. The American government will have its own stable coin. That's the big plan, because everybody knows when you go Zimbabwe, the only thing you can do is roll into a different currency. That's it. That's it. That's what happened in 1933. We rolled into a new currency because they confiscated all the gold. They were exchanging real money for shit money. That's why they did that. So the people would have to use the paper dollar because no one wanted to. They tried. Hey, everyone use our dollars. Everyone use our dollars. No, fuck your dollars. We have gold coins. We got silver coins. We got this. We got that. Screw your little pieces of paper. They said, oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, you have to turn in all of your gold. It's against the law. We said it's against the law. And what did they do? They used that gold to recapitalize the Treasury Department. Then they readjusted the price of gold and made all of the dollars less value, because as soon as they repriced the gold, they could print more dollars. That's what Trump is going to do with the treasuries and the Bitcoin. And these U.S. Treasury dollars, this is what Abraham Lincoln did, right? The great old greenback, that was out of the Treasury Department. Well, they didn't want that, so they got rid of Lincoln. So that's what JFK tried with the Kennedy dollar. And what happened to Kennedy? Right? Shooting people is not new to this group, because they're in it to win it. No one's life is worth their system. Because this is a system of war. This is a system of evil. Well, yeah, we got to go to war because, that government over there hates our government and we hate their government, and they got oil and we want some of it. So we're going to go to war. But you never see a president lock and load and head over to Afghanistan. You never see presidents' children's life. And I'll tell you what, guys, don't believe this whole bullshit that these senators and any of their children that went to woe, they were pushing a mop, folks, most of them, let's be honest. Right? They were not fucking put in harm's way. I can guarantee that. They were pushing papers. This is a whole new system. And so when they launched this treasury dollar, the legislation they're passing right now, the legislation they're working on right now is the infrastructure of all of this. This is the plumbing of it all, where as the price of the Bitcoin goes up in dollar value, the Treasury Department can then print more of their digital tokens, their digital dollars. the Federal Reserve screwed. And I was someone asked me yesterday, or no, I was having a conversation with someone, and I basically said the only thing that can save the Federal Reserve from the Bitcoin is the Bitcoin. The only thing that saves the Federal Reserve is if they buy Bitcoin. And it might not save them because their system is actually based on lying. So you can't add a trustless, honest ledger into their system because it will break their system, and they know that. They know that even if the Federal Reserve would go out and purchase a bunch of Bitcoin and then say, all right, we're going to launch a central bank digital currency that is backed with Bitcoin, no one's going to use it because of the programming of it. Because you can use our CBDC. Absolutely. We're just going to track everywhere you buy, everywhere you go. And if we don't like what you're buying, we're going to shut off your wallet, and no big deal. But what Trump is setting up is other smaller banks and companies, like I've said, Walmart will buy treasuries and issue a Wally coin in their, shout out to Hyde, in their wallet, Walmart. It's just a little play on words. All right. Walmart will launch a Wally coin. They will hold treasuries, and they will hold some Bitcoin to actually back up those dollars. And as the value of the Bitcoin goes up, they can issue more coins. So what do you think the Treasury Department is going to do? They are going to accumulate Bitcoin, and the system will be set up. Mind you, they say they already have like 198,000 or 200 and something thousand Bitcoin. Well, in my opinion, they stole most of that, but that's just my opinion. What's it matter? Was as soon as we have a reserve, we already have a reserve, but as we accumulate more, the price will go up, which will allow Trump to issue out more treasury dollars. Now, this is the game changer. Those reserves can be held, not sold, held, and they can issue the treasury dollar for all of the government's obligations. Social Security, what's it holding now? Not jack shit. IOUs, treasuries. What if they roll the Bitcoin as a reserve? Remember, this is a general reserve for the government. What if they set it up where price appreciation allows them to create the tokens that will pay Social Security recipients in the token? That's what they're setting up. Now, think of this. What if all of the new money coming into Social Security is used to accumulate more Bitcoin? Think about it. The new income is actually buying Bitcoin. That's raising the price of Bitcoin, which means they can create treasury tokens off of that reserve and send the treasury tokens out to the recipients of Social Security who use them as dollars. The federal government, and remember, the Social Security Department never sells the Bitcoin. Never. They don't sell the Bitcoin to pay out to the recipients of Social Security. They collect the Bitcoin and then create the tokens that are sent out to the recipients, and those tokens are worth $1. I'm telling you guys, this is what they are doing. Look at the legislation. It's loud and clear when you watch and listen to what they're proposing in the legislation. It's the blueprint for what I just explained, except you guys have jobs. Your guys' job is go out and make more money. And you're doing whatever you know what my job is? Get on the phone with people like Dennis Porter and other people in Washington, D.C., other people who run exchanges, other people who are very relevant to the industry, and find out what they're doing. There's everyone's worried about MicroStrategy. It's like, oh, you see it? Oh my God. Oh man. Did you see the NAV? Did you see the NAV? It's like, Michael Saylor is actually encouraging people to short his stocks because it helps him. People that don't know the structure of what he created, they think if price goes down, that hurts him. No, not even fucking close. When the price goes down, that actually helps him with his attractability of other asset accumulation groups. Everyone's like, oh man, MicroStrategy's doing so bad. Did you see how it went down in price? Michael Saylor is encouraging people to short it. He's like, yeah, go ahead. Help a brother out. These are such unique new items of investment. And we have never had. Let me explain this. The reason Trump is actually doing what Trump is doing. Let me make sure this is. Oh, I'm level. Am I level or am I crooked? I can't tell. This is like an optical illusion. Let me know if I'm crooked, guys. I can't tell because this is all kind of weird. But what we are doing, never before have we had, an asset with a fixed supply. Fixed supply. Think about fixed, not gold. Has a 2% average inflation rate per year. All right. We have a fixed supply asset that shrinks its supply every 4 years. Did you know in less than 8 years, less than 1 Bitcoin will be released every block? Let that sink in, guys. That means every hour, 6 fucking Bitcoin will be created in 1 hour. What's 6 times 24? Let's see, 6 times 24 would be 24. What is that? 30. I don't know. I can't math today. That's how 6 times 24. So that'd be 12. What's that? Like 1,360 or something. I don't know. A little over 1,000 actual Bitcoin will be created. Thank you. Oh, you're right. That's 144. 144 of the Bitcoin produced a day. One day. 144. Michael Saylor accidentally purchases 144 Bitcoin a day. The guy rolls out of bed and accidentally smash buys 144 Bitcoin a day. Think about that. In 8 years. That's why I keep telling everyone, you have about a 6-year window to get your shit straight. And that's what our clubs, and that's what I'm actually trying to help everyone do. But when it comes to government, and I'm trying to squirrel myself, like, keep on message, Ben. You have to remember, the Bitcoin is an amplifier. For every $1 it goes up, the market cap goes up, whatever the available supply is right now, like 19,800,000 or something like that. For $1, $1 in price raises the market cap 19 million and some change. Now, think about this. Michael Saylor has almost 700,000 Bitcoin. Let me tell you how stupid this is here. I'm actually going to pull out a calculator. All right. He owns approximately 700,000 Bitcoin, right? Every time the Bitcoin goes up $1, he makes $700,000. So if the Bitcoin goes up $100, he makes $7 million. When it goes up 1,000, he makes $7 billion. 1,000, yeah. So if it goes up $1,000, he makes $7 billion. When it goes up $1,000. Guys, this is where we're at, and that's how you recapitalize America. That's how you switch into a new currency. Trump is setting it up where America is switching into a new currency system, using the Bitcoin as the magnifier, that will eliminate all of the U.S. debt, not through inflation into the system, inflation into Bitcoin. That's what all of this legislation's for, is to use some of the inflation to set up America's future industrial economic system, and highways, airports, railways, all this stuff. energy systems. Guys, and then Trump's going to use the reserves in Bitcoin to pay back the debt. Yes. That's how he's going to recapitalize the treasury debt. Because remember, all right, right now we owe approximately $37 trillion worth of debt-ish, right? As he accumulates more and more Bitcoin, as the price of the Bitcoin goes up, and let's say our holdings reach $37 trillion worth of Bitcoin, Trump doesn't have to sell the Bitcoin. He creates the treasury dollars and he pays off the debt with the treasury dollars, never having to sell the Bitcoin. It's what we do with gold. That's why that's what gold certificates are. They're a representation of the gold that we supposedly hold. We never sell the gold. We sell the certificates, and we hold the gold. That's how this all changes, folks. That's how you erase your debt. Right? Look at it from your guys' point of view. Hang on, I need to smoke a cigarette and get a little Red Bull. I'm starting to get a little twitch. And this oxygen's fucking with me. Hang on a second. Good Lord. Oh. Whew. Nothing like a shot of nicotine. So look at yourself. Raise your hand if you have credit card debt. No, never mind. Raise your hand if you have a home loan. You have debt. What happens when the price of your Bitcoin goes up where you could pay off your debt? Question is, do you pay off the house or do you hodl the Bitcoin? Or do you get a loan against the Bitcoin and then pay off the loan? Where you own your house outright, but you have a loan against your Bitcoin. And your Bitcoin, if you have a long enough loan, will pay off the loan with the appreciation of the asset backing the loan, which is Bitcoin. What you plan on doing is exactly what the Federal Reserve, not the Federal Reserve, exactly what the Treasury Department's setting up to do. Accumulate a bunch of Bitcoin, and as price appreciates, they are going to get a loan, create the treasury dollar that's creating a representation of value that you hold, and send it out, and they'll pay off the debt using the reserve of the Bitcoin. My brother from another mother, why would you pay it off? Yeah, why would you pay off debt? Because if your actual Bitcoin is going higher at an average of 40% per year, and you have a loan at 9%, you are capturing 31% yearly in gain, actually carrying that loan cost. So if you paid off your debt, you'd lose a bunch of Bitcoin paying it off because you have to sell it. Like, you actually can't issue a stable coin. Well, you could. It's just who would accept it. This is, well, that's actually linked with my bank idea, which is, wait till you guys hear this. This is so fundamental that people understand what's going on. We're not tweaking the old system. We are changing the whole system. We are going back to the Gilded Age, 1820 to about 1861-ish. From 1820 till 1861, there were about 7,000 different currencies in the United States, issued by different entities. I watched something this morning, and they were explaining how Florida is gonna launch a Florida coin. Wyoming, I think they already launched a Wyoming coin. I think they call it, what's it called? It has a name. They launched it in Wyoming, I think. Frontier. All right. And I think it's Wyoming. So Wyoming is launching their own Wyoming coin. And the name of the coin is the Frontier coin. If I'm right, I think it's Wyoming. Guys, Wyoming coin will be backed with partially U.S. Treasuries and partially Bitcoin. Florida, same thing. Missouri, same thing. Texas, same thing. And if you know the history of Texas, them are some wild mother pluckers down there. They love to launch a new currency. Look into the history of Texas. Them some bitches will go against anybody. You want to fuck with us? Fuck you. We're seceding. They're always succeeding over something. Oh, you don't like us? That's all right. We'll secede. I love Texans. They're a whole different breed, man. We got grit in our ass. You're damn right you do, bunch of wild ass cowboys. But that's what's coming. New York will have its own currency. God, I hope they call it the Yank. Just saying. Yankee, you get it? All right. That'd be so funny if they called the New York dollar the Yank. We are into a whole new world, guys. Whole new world. And my good friend, Dennis Porter, which I'm going to have him on later on this week, is at the forefront of this. All right. I love you. Oh, so everyone, listen to me and listen to me good. At our clubs here, if you're interested in owning part of our mining company that I'm launching, give me a call at 941-391-3882. Yes, I'm launching a mining company because it's just the right time. God, let's just put it this way. With all of the grants from the federal government and all of the tax breaks, I can launch a mining company for half of the creation cost. I get half off of a mining facility. You're damn right I'm launching a mining company. Okay, if you're interested in owning a chunk of that mining company with me, 941-391-3882. Okay, everyone, I love you guys. Everyone have a great day. Everyone kick ass and take names. I will see you guys tomorrow. Love you guys. Bye-bye.
Tired of jumping through hoops to buy Bitcoin? Frustrated with endless paperwork and invasive identity checks? Introducing Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club's loan program. No KYC required. Say goodbye to the hassle and hello to freedom. Borrow up to $250,000 at as little as 7% interest. Join our community and take control of your financial future. Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, where privacy meets opportunity. Connect with like-minded individuals and grow together. Visit us today and unlock your $250,000 Bitcoin loan. Your journey to financial freedom starts here.